Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining in. Last day after lunch, always a tough session. Uh, uh, Another difficult thing for me is that what I've planned to cover possibly has been covered across the 3 days. Such lovely sessions but again, you would have heard from my profile, I'm not a tech person. Okay. I have moved into this space. I'm more a business person. The idea of my presentation taking you through the next 20 or 25 minutes is to um take you through various industries where is predictive AI used, because a lot of times we tend to be focused in one industry or one sector or one company, and we look at what's happening in that space. However, in most of the use cases, what I figure out is that while a use case might be used in a particular industry, it can easily be adapted to other industries as well. So, for example, one of the reasons of me attending the 3 days is to learn from other industries. I'm in the real estate sector. There's not too much action where I can look at my peers and figure out what's happening. So that's where I come from, and that's the intent, and hence the topic I've taken is of predictive AI. So just quickly, forget my pick. This is the format given by Cypher, but this is what I wanted to cover broadly. And I have not put in a lot of numbers and things like that. It's more to explain the concept. That's been the thought. In case you need any numbers, we can discuss offline, but this is what was in my plan. Simple introduction. All of you would know it, but over the last 2 days, I've figured out a lot of uh, uh, people here also may not have exposure across all functions within AI, and that's where I've kind of put this, that it's basically essentially it's predicting future events, right? Using AI, that's where it is. It uses data analysis, patterns, statistical analysis, and basically identifying relationships between data and predicting the future. That's what it is all about. It essentially is, without even we realizing it, working across industries and helping increase profitability, sales, or profitability, efficiency, productivity across functions, across industries. And that's where I was kind of moving to. One simple slide may look slightly a theoretical one, but this is the only theoretical slide. So where does it help? Again, for people who know or who worked in this space would know about it, but helps in decision making, efficiency, customer experience. These are the places we use it. Risk mitigation, sales, marketing, of course, is the main use, and operational optimization. I'll just quickly deep delve into the various industries, and I've put real estate first because I'm from that industry. But broadly, a lot of use cases we use within real estate. One is predicting where property prices would move, rentals would move, right? It helps builders, developers price their product accordingly, right? If there's a demand, obviously they price it higher. If there's lower demand in a region where they're launching a project, it will come down and things like that. It helps us. The second point is something we use very, very effectively. We've got a patent for it. Is where the moment a customer comes into our system through any source, it could be digital, offline, channel partner, any of these, we are able to predict, will he buy a house or not? So we've reached that stage, and that really helps us, because then the entire ecosystem of pre-sale, sales, site visit, everyone is kind of on their toes. The leaders know this is a high intent lead, this is going to convert. So obviously the focus is there, and that's how we've been able to increase revenues. So that is one. Another thing we do is increase the efficiency of the sales team. You know, in any organization you have top performers, mid performers, bottom performers. We've all seen that. Across functions is there, but we use this more in the sales function, where we learn from the Characteristics of the top performers. We study the mid and bottom performers, predict where the mid performers, bottom performers would go wrong next, because we know what works and where the laggards or mid performers are not doing well. And then if the prediction says that they're not, some activity they're not going to do well, that's when we nudge and we kind of give them inputs. It could be simple things like time when you have to call a customer, number of calls you make in a day, even basic things like that come out of that. So that was it. We use predictive AI to identify if we have a project, which channel partner will sell that. Okay, that's one part. Or if I have a channel partner which I've onboarded, which are the products I should be recommending him to sell, right? Two parts there. We also use predictive AI to identify which customer is going to refer other customers. We all know that customers who come through referrals are kind of much higher intent customers. They convert much more across industries. Unfortunately, the number of referral customers we get is very few across industries again. So this is again coming back to my earlier point. It can be used across industries. It's not, most of these which I use in real estate can be used in any other industry. So quickly moving ahead, and this was something would not have been covered, but the upcoming slides would have got covered in some form or the other in the past few days. Taking BFSI, we've had sessions specific to BFSI even today on this stage, but some of the use cases, credit risk, decision making, fraud detection, a lot of us get calls when we do a transaction, especially an international transaction, have you done the transaction? All that is the AI models giving us back that it's a fraud detection, possible fraud detection. So it's used very effectively. Customer retention, you see this a lot. Persistency, typically in insurance industry, persistency is where how many of your renewals would tend to happen. If you sell a policy for 10 years, the second year, what percentage of the policies you sell this year kind of renew or pay the premium, and that's persistency. So using predictive AI, obviously you can identify that this customer has a lower chance of renewing, and you can focus more and have multiple levers to kind of get him to pay the premium, those kind of things. Collections, again, which customer is going to default on his repayment. Tailored communication, personalized communication, this we see very, very effectively. Here is where Gen AI also comes in place. So we've seen a lot of activities in this space in the last 6 months, clearly. Algorithmic trading, we all know, typically used in stocks or bond markets, where once you know the trend and there are algorithms written which predict where a stock or market as a whole would tend to move and automatically trade. Retail, we of course had a session from Mantra today, and obviously covered much more than that, but again, simple things. Demand forecasting, used very, very effectively, which depending on the season, the demand, the environment, the SKUs, everything is kind of decided right up to, and that kind of flows back into your manufacturing setup. Which is the new product you can come up with, what is the price point you can keep the products at, retailer level distribution of products. So most of the FMCG companies actually run this at a very, very large scale, very, very advanced stage, that if I have a retailer in so-and-so location, in this locality, what are the products he should be selling, what has been his history of selling, so what is the mix that I should be giving to him. Which also helps not only in the standard products, but if there's a new product coming in, which is the retailer who can sell it basis his consumption pattern or price patterns in the past. So that's there. Personalized marketing offers and product recommendations, we see that in the e-commerce space very, very easily. Supply chain management, route planning, this again, typically in the retail space, this is a huge cost. So optimizing that is where you identify which factory should supply to which distributor, which is the cheapest cost, what are the load sizes, which route should the vehicle take, and things like that. Moving on, healthcare, we had a few sessions, so it's covered, but just put a couple of points. Diagnosing diseases earlier. So this is one very important place where it's used. Drug discovery, we all know COVID vaccines were an example where, and this is used very effectively. You know the chemical composition data set, you have how it behaves biologically, and then you kind of have AI models predict how they will behave in certain situations, and that's where in the healthcare space it's used very, very commonly. Patient care, typically this is very effective for governments typically, other than obviously hospitals, but you have seasonal diseases which come, virals which come, or if there's a pandemic which tends to come, it's easy to, or predictive AI helps predict what is the quantum of beds you require or quantum of medicines you require, and you can kind of have that. So that's the slide on healthcare. Agriculture, possibly not covered very well during our sessions, but this is some place where a lot of investments, especially from the government, are going into. It's right from analyzing where you are growing a particular crop, what would be the output coming in, what is the fertilizers required, what is the various processes required, when should one harvest, when should one kind of even sow the seed. All those things are kind of effectively used. A lot of work done, like I said, by the government, state governments also in this space. Pest and disease detection, here it's more computer vision, where studying the leaves and the way if a particular leaf is infected and how it can affect other plants and hence damage the crops. Those kind of things come in where it's used. Precision agriculture, again done a lot between governments and colleges. So recently, couple of days ago, it was, I think, Anand Agriculture University in Gujarat, who's working with the Gujarat government, where the idea is that when you are sowing a seed or planting a sapling for a crop, you also plant sensors inside the ground so that you are able to identify the weather conditions, the humidity, things like that, so that you know exactly what's happening to the crop, when is the best time to harvest and things like that. So that's something which is going on. And given the fact that over the last couple of years you've actually seen India grow in the agriculture space a lot, one can actually expect a lot of action in this space. Manufacturing, again, couple of things, optimizing production schedules depending on the demand. Preventive maintenance, we saw that in couple of presentations already, and quality control. So again, here it's more identifying where things can go wrong, but that goes a long way, especially in precision equipment and stuff. Last couple of slides. Marketing, I've taken this separately, it's not an industry, but kind of because this function runs across industries. Optimizing your advertising and creative campaigns. So it would mean when should I show an ad, when should I run my ad if I have to run an advertisement. Creative optimization would mean for which segment, which customer do I show, what type of an ad. If I'm an entrepreneur, should I show possibly the ad? And incidentally, Google has this capability. When you engage with Google ads, they actually offer this. So if I'm an entrepreneur, I'll see a shop at the background in my ad. I'll have a different copy. And if I'm a salaried or if I'm a person in BFSI, I'll see a different ad in real estate. That kind of things have already come in place. Customer segmentation, targeting, whom to target, that's the what's coming in. Next, purchase prediction, we see that especially in our online purchases a lot, but typically this is used even in BFSI to some extent. You've taken a particular product which would be the next product, right? You've bought 4 stocks from, say, the oil sector. If there's a 5th good stock in the oil sector, your broker might tend to recommend you that, those kind of things. Because they know you like the oil sector, you are comfortable with it and things like that. Churn prediction used traditionally a lot, especially in the telecom industries earlier. Now across industries, OTT platforms, it's used to identify which customer will not renew or drop off and go to a competitor. So you have a Netflix connection, the model will try and predict that after 3 months you'll not renew, those kind of things. Customer trends analysis, is there a shift in trends of a particular category of customers because of some event, right? Those kind of things. HR, again, a common slide because applicable across industries. So it's identifying the best candidates which suit in to your company's culture and the job requirement. That's where it is used for. Employee retention, you can predict, if you regularly study the behavior and performance of an employee, you can predict when his interest level falls off and things are going wrong, and you can fairly predict that unless a corrective is taken, he'll kind of tend to move out. Workforce planning, depending on the industry seasons, there are industries which are seasonal in nature, and there it's used. Last, again, not very much employed, last point, within India, at least to my knowledge, but where personalized development plans of employees are made using, depending on their strengths, weaknesses, their performances, and what they're good at. Some challenges in predictive AI, and since I've been working in this space a lot, obtaining high quality data. So everyone has data, everyone feels their data is the best, there's no challenge with it, which is also right from their perspective, but can it be used in the AI space or for building models? Protecting customer privacy, we've again heard a lot about this over the last 2-3 days, but this is critical because the moment customer in some way realizes that you've not used data correctly, he'll move away forever. Synthetic data, so this has been my largest challenge, frankly. It's not easy. While it sounds very glamorous that with little data you can build a lot of new data, similar data sets of the data which you have very limited data, but it's really difficult, and that can derail a lot of your project. So that's one challenge. Model bias, interpretability, we've discussed. Ethical implications over the last couple of days, it's been discussed. But yeah, these are the typical challenges. I think my last slide, future of predictive AI. And we're seeing this already happening, multimodal AI models, where a mix of multiple sources, video, speech, text, everything is used in models, and or different data from different sources kind of comes in and gives you a prediction. AI democratization, I'm sure for a lot of us or our organizations, a year ago we were doing much lesser AI, if I may use the word, than today. And the awareness and the options and the pure number of stalls you can see outside is what tells us that everyone and anybody can start working on this. Personalization, again, last 6 months we've seen a lot of it, especially post ChatGPT coming in. Federated learning, this was kind of spoken in the earlier sessions, where going forward you would see data only remaining within your organization itself. You don't need to send it out to various players to kind of build models or run models, and a predictive AI for social good. In fact, I believe South America, last week there was a flood, and Google had predicted it 4 days ago, so that there's going to be a flood. So people were evacuated in time, and that's what we mean by um, uh, predictive AI for social good, and similar other use cases. Yep. So that was all I had to share with all of you. Happy to take any questions. Thanks.
Hi there, this is Kirsch. So
Yeah,
you were
hi.
talking about identifying high intent customer in real estate. So that problem in itself is very difficult. How do you identify high intent customer? And how specifically the AI is helping you in this space?
Yeah, so in my organization at ANAROCK, we luckily over the last 5 years we've built customer behavioral data, and we generate a lot of leads. We have about 5 million leads over the 5 years, and about 50,000 homes we've sold, which are there, whose behavior has been captured in our system. So basis that we were able to build models. Yes, the challenge was when a lead is generated and you've not reached out to the client, how do you predict whether he's going to buy or not? But luckily we've been able to, it took us some time, but we've been able to master that. Currently we've reached a stage where if I get 100 leads, or at a larger scale if I get a lakh leads, typically in the real estate industry you have a 1% closure rate. So a lakh leads would amount to 1,000 conversions. So out of a lakh leads, 10% leads is what we classify as high intent, and they contribute to 40% of the organization's booking. So we've reached that stage. It's a combination of, if you ask me how we've made it, the model features would include a combination of limited customer data, because you tend to just have name, number, email ID. You don't have before that anything more than that, but you can expand that to things like mobile circle, mobile operator, email domain, and over a large data set there are patterns. For logically speaking, a low ticket size may have a high amount of geo customers. A luxury property may tend to have say a Vodafone kind of customers, just as an example. And that kind of, in the AI model, comes itself. Then you have things on where did the lead come from. So you know whether it's a digital lead, is it a Google lead, if it's a Google lead, is it a Google search lead, is it a discovery, is it a YouTube, is it a any other kind of display, okay, for that. Because display versus search, we all know the results are very, very different. So that gets built into the model. What time of the day of the week did the lead come? And then you have some property features like what's the ticket size, what's the configuration, what are the amenities, what is the possession time. So basis all that, we've kind of built these models and reached to that level. We also use this effectively in the failed leads, where like I said, 1% conversion, so 99 which fail, we kind of use predictive AI to identify which lead should have moved ahead in the sales cycle. And from each of these two buckets, we get about 4 to 5% increase in revenue for the organization. Because otherwise the 99 leads are dead. So the model gives us, the models we build give us about 10% leads back into the system for retrying and reviving, which help us generate additional revenue. Thanks. Yep.
Client data, customer data.
So what we've done is we've actually not, we've built our models in such a way that we've not gone beyond the data which we are capturing. We are only using data which we are capturing from the time the customer gives us a lead till the time wherever, either he books or fails. That journey, which is with us, is what we are using. We are not actually going out and taking any data from DMPs or from a third source, because we know that 3 months, 6 months down the line, once GDPR comes in, and it might be earlier, but the drafts have been passed in the parliament. So that time we don't want to end up retraining and then starting from scratch and things like that. So we've kept it simple. Data which we are capturing, we are just using that. Or publicly available, like mobile, from the first 5 digits of the phone number, I can identify a circle and operator, which is publicly available. It's not infringing on any thing. That's what we.
So are you still like cold calling people with offers and then trying to follow up with them?
We don't generally do cold calling because unless someone has shown an interest, there might be a re-churning at some day, but it will not be picking up a database and calling that, because real estate in itself is a intent-driven or need-based. So it doesn't mean out of possibly 300, 400 people in this room, possibly 50 might be looking for a house. I'm just taking an example. Reaching out to the others is just irritating them. No point going there. Yeah, so these 50, you might, once they've shown interest, you might reach out to them at a later date. That may happen, but not cold calling person.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
I just want a quick question about how is the adoption in real estate for AI and technologies in general? Is there a lot of restriction? Are there people more open to it now than a few years ago?
Certainly. So ChatGPT has made my life a lot easier. Earlier, I had to explain to people what do I do. Post November, December last year, I don't have to explain that. But frankly, I'm sure it's across industries, but ChatGPT has made that difference where people have become aware. So when I also interact with a lot of developers or promoters, now is when they actually come back to me saying that I want to implement it, how can you help me implement it, and things like that. Earlier, it was like one of the things you're doing, it's something fancy you're doing. That has changed, certainly, after in the last 6-8 months. And we've seen that across the board. It's not only, while even earlier days, the larger listed developers were kind of, they knew the importance, they understood, they had some interest, they were not taking the plunge, but they had some interest trying to understand. Now you're seeing not only larger, but also mid-size kind of developers wanting to do that. So that's a change. Thanks. Great. Thank you so much for your time.